Hi, we're trying this again. So this is about mistakes I've made on the twin flame journey. If you can hear me, can you please write in the comments? Can you hear me? Is there sound? Are you able to hear me? Thanks for joining and thanks for being patient. Is there audio? Can you hear me? Audio works finally. Okay. So what happened was that my sister kept phoning my phone for God knows what reason, and I think that interrupted the sound. But you can hear me now. So we'll go for it from the beginning. Sorry, Brooke, when you kept doing the red signs, I didn't know what that meant. And when I read the comments, I go right to the beginning and then go down. It's my mistake, but you can hear me now. Good. So it's 20 minutes, you're going to hear me, and I was just having a great old time myself. Okay, so this live is about mistakes I've made on my journey, and nothing is a mistake because everything is divinely orchestrated. Okay, you missed the entire live, but we're going to redo it. We're going to redo it, and I hope you can hear me. We are all live now. We're going to start over. Don't worry about it. Okay, I apologize. So I started off the live by saying I have a headache. There was family drama today. People were trauma dumping their issues, and it didn't make me feel great. But I still showed up today, and because I wanted to do this live, and maybe there's some learning or lessons within it. Someone wrote best therapy session. What? Because I wasn't talking because you couldn't hear me. Okay, so I have seen other coaches that basically, if they've got a headache, they just don't show up, right? Maybe that's a good thing, but I wanted to show up today. And I want to know in the comments, because January, especially, and the next couple of months, will be bringing up a lot of childhood unresolved issues for yourself and for us. You're saying it's Mercury retrograde, but girl, it was because my sister was calling my phone, and she was calling the house phone, and my mother was walking in, and everything was going on. I don't know what these people knew. I had 7 o'clock live. Okay, so initially I was going to call this live stupid shit I have done on the twin flame journey, but I decided to call it mistakes I've made. Now, nothing is a mistake because it's all divinely orchestrated. I am reading now, yes, Bagashi, because what I do is I go through the comments. I start from the first comment and then I go right down through in chronological order because otherwise I don't want to miss anyone out. Okay, but if you can hear me, you can hear me, right? Yes, you can hear me. Good. Okay, wonderful. All right. You're trying to tell me telepathically. All right, wonderful. I was like, oh, so many comments today. Because throughout this live, I want you to share all the stupid shit you've done, okay? All the mistakes you have made and anything. And it's not a mistake because it's all divinely orchestrated. Sometimes the universe, God, the divine will push you to basically do something and without your like actual conscious awareness, and you'll be pushed to do things to trigger the DM. And I do apologize because I don't really always read everything. Like I get into a trance when I speak and I like go into my own world when I talk. Like I literally feel like it's just me and the phone. Okay. So I've done a lot of things, okay? And I'm going to do it in the order in which I spoke about it before. So the first thing that I have done is like I've sent my DM really long emails, at least two, about a year into the journey, a little bit less, yeah, maybe 9 months or so. And initially, I sent those to tell him that you know what, I'm going to start doing social media because I thought it was kind of like respectful to like let him know. But I told him everything about being twin flames and this and that and the other, and it was a mistake. But it was divinely orchestrated. It was huge, long emails with loads of packets of energy. Now, I assumed that my twin flame was at the same level of maturity and the same level of understanding as me. I thought, you know what, the dude was basically similar to me, right? But no, most of the time, the DMs are not spiritually evolved. They are very immature and they're running. And when someone is scared and they're running, you don't want to dump a lot of information on them that scares them even more and freaks them out. The whole life is crumbling, right? You've got to drip feed them step by step. And don't even mention about the label of twin flames. If they ask you, you can mention about, oh, you know, there's chemistry, there's connection, and leave it as that. Only once you're in union and it's harmonized and grounded and it's been a couple of months in, you can maybe imply, or if they ask you, imply a little bit. But don't basically go about telling them like, this is us, this is what we are, because I did it in a way of control. I was like, we are twin flames, we will heal, we will get into union whether you like it or not. I'm gonna make sure of it. Da, 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 da. That was toxic. That's toxic feminine energy, right? So I made mistakes in sending these long ass emails, but I do believe they were divinely orchestrated. Now, if you tell your twin when they're running, when they're not in their ego and they're in fear and they're immature about twin flames, about the journey, and you long things to them, it can push them to run further. But the further they run, the quicker they bounce back too as well. But the separation might be affected by telling them a lot of information, because they might think you're crazy and they might think all sorts of things are going on. So basically, telling them that they were twin flames can be a little bit of a toxic thing to do. The other thing, so whilst I'm talking, if you could please write down all the stupid shit you've done, all the mistakes you've made, and it's not never a mistake. It's always divinely orchestrated. But another thing I mentioned was me creating fake accounts. Now, whilst I'm talking, if you want to write down the stupid things you've done, the mistakes you've done, please write it down. You know, when you're in the obsessive phase, I created fake dating app accounts to see, because in the first year of my journey, my twin flame was sleeping with everybody and was on the app, a lot, 17 hours a day and all that kind of stuff. So I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on, but I was kind of sometimes surprised that he wasn't desperate actually. But I did create fake accounts on dating apps and also on social media. So if you've created any fake accounts, let me know. Because I wanted to see what he was doing, but not to be aware that it was me. But I think he figured it out. Also, like messaging him things when I figured out some stuff about him, and saying things like, "Is this your legacy? This is what people are talking about you," because people are talking a lot of smack about him, about all his sexual escapades and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Is this how you want to be recognized?" And I think like that can be quite controlling and toxic and forceful, whether you kind of almost want them to figure it out themselves and be in your divine feminine energy, which is forgiving and loving and trusting and understanding that they're going through this because they're not as evolved. The other thing I talked about was like putting them on a pedestal. So you got to put God on a pedestal and then focus on yourself and then the twin later. But in the beginning, I remember after I met my twin, because my twin is, he's, like I said, mentioned before, he's on Runway, he's on Vogue, like he had a huge following on Instagram. We have a bigger following now on this platform, which doesn't matter. But there was a reason behind that, because he lost followers. First, he gained a few followers, like 200, but then he lost those because what he was doing on social media was distorted. Okay, and God was basically, the lesson might be sometimes with the DF, you come as a course correction for the DM, and often you have to basically, whatever they're doing as a career, do it in the divine way. They're often doing it in a distorted way, and you've got to like correct it. So that was that happening. But putting him on a pedestal, and my twin, I don't know how your twins are. I would love for you to write this down, and I hope you can hear me. Was basically having lots of like friends and big groups, like male friends, gay friends. I'm gay, right? So he had like a huge, and I have mainly female friends, and I've traveled and lived in loads of countries. So I don't have that many big groups of friends. And if I do any sports, I do like gym by myself, and that's what I was doing only, or did yoga by myself. Whereas my twin was doing like volleyball in like campaigns and like big groups of them doing group contact sport and always winning. And that used to make me feel so insecure, because if it was a soulmate doing that, like with soulmates, for example, you will have different tastes and desires and things like music or movies or hobbies, and that's okay, sports. But with a twin, I don't know why, it triggers the living daylights out of you in the beginning, right? And I used to feel so insecure, like he's got big groups of friends and he's doing volleyball or sports or whatever he's doing, and I don't have that, I'm by myself, I'm alone, he's having good time, he's having fun, he's happy, he doesn't care about me, all those insecurities which have to come out, but in hindsight I would try to stay more balanced on that if I could. I mentioned about telling them about your being twin flames, and that's not great, and then thinking they're on the same level of maturity and understanding, which is not true as well. And also, like, at times I was acting from my ego and my trauma, and I would get triggered and start acting distorted. and controlling and toxic. And in hindsight, like if I know what I know now, because if you look at my videos, the ones that I started in July 2023, I believe. No, yeah, 2023. I look different, I sound different, I'm a lot more like harsher, more toxic, I think. And you can see my evolution over the years, over the 2 years, over the year and a half. But I wish I was more in my divine feminine template, which I wasn't. And maybe you were the same, but it's part of the journey, right? But I also try to control my twin a lot. And as you know, the more you try to control them, the more they rebel and they run away. And whatever annoys you about them, they'll keep doing it until it doesn't bother you anymore. So I wish I had just focused on myself more. Um, Another thing which a lot of divine feminines make a mistake of is, and that's why they get stuck and locked in on the twin flame journey for a long, long time in separation, is thinking that it was all about romance. Because I had to get him back, and I had to do my inner work, and I had to do this to get him. And I forgot, I didn't put the ascension and myself first, you know? I allowed it to consume me. I allowed the entire journey to consume me. I lost my job. I was in and out of hospital. I had health conditions. I gave all my energy to him, and his ego got more inflated, because when you give them all that energy, it inflates your ego and makes it terrible for you. I was feeling less than him, like I said. So I would look at, and luckily it only lasted for a short while, a few weeks or so, maybe a few months. Whereas I'd look at him doing all the group sports he was doing, and all the friends he had, and all the going out to the clubs and being on the dating sex apps and all that kind of stuff, you know, not giving a shit about me, and you know, all that stuff running. And I felt really, really like I wasn't good enough, you know, and I didn't appreciate myself. I felt quite insecure, and also didn't feel worthy of love. So I want you to write down, and I'm going to read it. So we're going through all the stuff that you've done that's shitty or mistakes. There's never mistakes though. It's all divine. And then we'll talk about all the good things. Okay. I did feel suicidal because I made it all about him, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had taken care of myself more. I mean, I was still working out, but you know how it is in the beginning. It's terrible. I also trusted that other people would understand me, you know. But my spiritual friends did, but everyone else thought I was crazy. They were like, "What? You're in love with someone who lives in another country, who's not talking to you, who's blocked you, who's sleeping around with others, and is doing all the things online, the nudity and the content, and like, what?" And they didn't get it. They didn't like, he comes in your dreams. Are you crazy? Do you need a therapist? Do you need like some medication? Like that was also the thing. So I was looking outside for validation, attention. I was going to like psychics and tarot readers and other people. And I was trying to get it fixed. I was thinking the outside was the way of doing it, whereas it's all an internal journey. There was also a lot of blame, shame, anger, all the things and the toxicity. And also, I don't know how it's with you, but I would look at what my twin was doing. And I was like, that's not me. I ain't doing that. I'm not um, dressed the same way. I don't act the same way. I'm not behaving the same way, until I started getting to the crux of it, the deep layers of what emotion it was mirroring inside of me. And then I understood he is mirroring abandonment. He is mirroring anger or hatred or whatever it is, the fear, the rejection wound. And that's, he behaves in a different way, and I behave in a different way. And we will do a live in the future, not one about twin flames, twin rays, soulmates, karmics, etc., in order to understand that. So a twin flame is always the shadow aspect. So it will always come across like, especially when you're distorted and not aligned, very triggering. Whereas a twin ray is the same polarity as you. So like, for example, two divine feminines. So if you have an issue, they'll have the same issue, but they won't show it in a shadow way, so it won't trigger you. You'll just both be in issues and never heal from it. Whereas with a twin flame, they're always your shadow aspect, and they will always show your issue in the other way. So there's always going to be a triggering, and that's how you heal it. So that's the reason for that. And then some of you have asked about something to do with like sex as well, which I'll talk about in another live, about loving yourself and respecting yourself so you are valued and treated well by others. So I was kind of also like not valuing myself and treating myself in the best way, and my twin was mirroring that. But yeah, I was comparing myself a lot to my twin. his hobbies, his friends. I also stalked his friends because like when they go out, like the friends like retweet, like share the posts and the pictures and stuff, and I was driving myself mad. I was like, I should have like had a job as a detective or in the CIA. So good at like uncovering things. So I was putting a lot of energy outside because I was insecure, so I was neglecting myself. And my twin also was hanging out with his ex again and going on holidays and whatever else and sleeping with him probably. And I was stalking the ex, which obviously I've talked about third parties. The more attention you give to the third party, the more they're likely to go towards the third party. So all that stuff was actually wasting my energy, but you could say you had to go through it, Manny. And I wonder if you went through the same as well. But if I was to do it again, these are the things. And you know what? I knew that I shouldn't be doing these things, but I couldn't stop it. It's like I couldn't stop myself. So this is where another point comes in, which is the next point. It's about not suppressing, but about expressing. You have to empty your cup, right? And they have to empty theirs. Because at points I was suppressing, like people saying, oh, Manny, don't date others, don't sleep around, don't watch porn, don't do this, don't do that. So I was doing all these things. I was like, if I do it, he's going to do it. And my twin was very sexual, like I mentioned many times. So I had a lot of like control to stop things. But the more I try to suppress it, the more it would manifest more, It's like almost like, you can't eat chocolate, but all you want is chocolate. So last week I talked about middle path, and I used to do a lot of meditation retreats, silent ones called Vipassana. And my Buddhist teacher used to say it's the middle path, balance, and it's about allowing it to naturally come to that stage. So you can't control it. You have to let it all out, and eventually you will not want to sleep with others or date others because it doesn't work out anyway with soulmates. I mean, you learn lessons, but I hope you can hear me, by the way, because we had a problem. I had to re-record this. It looks like you can hear me. Okay, it's good. I'll keep checking. All right. So basically, you cannot control the journey. You have to let what's in out, and the DM does that very obviously. And so I wish I kind of had just been a bit more easy with myself and just allowed it to just work out and trust it. The lack of faith and trust in the divine, I felt like I had to control the union and every aspect, and that comes from childhood trauma. You know. Also, trying to get my twin to want me. Now, some of you DFs are a little bit naughty. I had some DFs, right, message me saying he's very sexual or doing sexual things. And I'm like, oh, bless you, dear. Let's heal that. And then I look at their social media of the DF and they're doing OnlyFans, no judgment, or they nude themselves, showing their flesh, trying to get attention. So if you're doing it, of course your DM's going to do it. But basically, some of them are doing it to try to get attention, right? Or they're dating others to try to get attention from the twin flame too. Trying to get your twin flame to want you does not work. You have to love yourself within and value yourself, and then they mirror that. So that was something that was a bit of a mistake. I mean, what I was doing was more so like messaging and saying, we are together, we're going to be together. And I said things like, I know everything, or I am the one. And oh my God, I was like, now I just slap myself for these things, but it had to be done. Okay. I was in my toxic energy, in my toxic masculine, trying to control and being, aggressive and toxic feminine. I also took everything my twin did personally. And I don't know if you do that too. I feel like with a soulmate, it's not as bad, right? They do something like, yeah, whatever, or if they're into things, it doesn't make you feel insecure. Whereas your twin, my twin is very good at swimming and diving, and I'm not, because we're both from Mintaka. If you know about Mintaka, I talk about Akashic Records in one of the series, but the planet was destroyed. So some of us have like issues with water and some of us don't. He does not. And then I nearly drowned as a kid. So I'd see him swimming and I get really triggered. Whereas like I've been with people who are very good at swimming and I don't get triggered. You'll see in my Mexico pictures, there's a friend that I'm with who is like teaching me how to swim and I'm not triggered. Okay. Whereas with my twin, I'd see him. I was like, oh my God, he can do that. I cannot. Because twins can be quite competitive and jealous with each other, and the DMs are very much so. That's why they won't. But sometimes it can be healthy, that competition, to push you to do better. Because now I've been taking swimming lessons to be better. But I was taking everything personally. Whereas with a soulmate, if they're into certain sports or certain things, you don't trigger. If they're into certain music, you don't get so triggered. Whereas with my twin, I was like, oh my God, everything he did used to drive me insane. So does that happen to you? So taking everything personally rather than seeing it as his issues or just something that, It just happens with people. We're not going to be clones. We're not going to be the same, right? Also, bad mouthing my twin flame to everyone, including online. So the first year or so of doing social media, I did not talk about him personally. There was a video I did, an interview with a DM, and I accidentally spilt some beans, and my twin got triggered, and I had to delete those little sections. So I was very careful. I was told, do not talk about your personal stuff on social media. There will be repercussions and consequences. But after my plant medicine in autumn, I was like, I don't want to be in union. I don't really care. And I just was so angry from the PTSD that I just let rip, didn't I? All the dirty laundry came out. Now, some of you kind of like appreciated that and it helped you heal as well. And I can understand why, because there are quite a lot of twin flame coaches out there who never talk about these things. You never know whether they're twin flames themselves. You never know where they're on the journey. Are they in union? Are they not? But they're trying to teach you about twin flames. And I don't know nothing about them. I don't know why they're teaching me or telling me stuff if I don't understand who they are. They're not relatable to me, you know? And I guess when someone talks about their story and what they're going through, it's relatable and it's understandable. And you want to work with someone, like I've always worked with healers or coaches or whatever, twin flame ones, because I feel like they understand me. Whereas sometimes I see on social media people are teaching about twin flames, but I don't know whether they're twin flames themselves or where they're at. So yeah, I did obviously badmouth my twin flame, but I feel like my twin flame believes all publicity is good publicity. And at that time, I didn't want him back, but now obviously I'm all Team DM. I healed all that. If you followed me for a while, how the journey has been. How has it been for you? Have you dated others? Have you badmouthed your twin flame? Did you not want your twin flame? Did you try to get away from him? And now, are you back with them, or are you talking to them, or are you wanting them? Okay. I was also trying to replace, at times, maybe my twin flame with other people, with other soulmates by dating. It's not possible because you'll always think about them. It will always be redirected. But you do learn stuff from it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I mentioned earlier I was being on the journey just to get him, and I was stalking his ex and his friends. And I was sending him threatening messages like, we will be in union whether you like it or not. It's kind of scary, isn't it? Like, who's this clown who's sending all these messages? Right, so I'm going to read in the chat all the mistakes you have made, all the silly stuff you've done, and also whether you did, do date others or whatever you did. Let's have a look. And then we'll talk about all the good things. Then we'll talk about all the things you're proud of. Because mistakes are not mistakes. You learn from them. Okay. So this is the second live we're doing because the first one, the audio went out, but we are able to hear me now, thankfully. Okay. You have sound. Wonderful. Amen, Jesus. Okay. But don't worry, we went through the whole thing again, so it's fine. Start over. We are all laughing. Oh, thank God. I feel like some of you are doing a mass exodus. You died laughing. Like here, when I start doing my lives, I'm just like in my own zone. I don't even know anything's existing. I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You will have so much fun when you read the comments from the no sound. Oh, I did read some of them. Okay. Best therapy session. You know what? You could have just imagined what I was saying. Maybe it was the universe saying that, don't talk about mistakes. But anyway, talking about it. Okay. So Lorraine texted her DM about the telepathy, and he said he wasn't freaked out. So you're not too sure. Okay. Blissfully unaware. I'm like the DMs, blissfully unaware what's going on. That's generally how I live my life, though. Like, there's so much like stuff that goes on around us, right? And I just stay in my happy place. Stay in my happy place. Okay. All right. Perfect. Mercury retrograde. You can hear me. Now he's reading. Yes, I was reading. Sorry. Okay. Did you see us in the 5D? No, I didn't. Yes, we can hear you now. People got into union before you noticed. All right. I'm glad you're in union. Okay. Right. We're reading people's questions. Okay. Bagashi, I have a question. Are we allowed to take steps intuitively, even if not really a step in the process of the divine feminine, me being a DF? Anything that feels joyful, anything that feels aligned is a step you must take, because your ego will not be able to understand whether it's going to take you where you need to go, but it will. So always take that next logical step, that inspired step. Can the DM be awakened first and the DF awakens later. No, no. We'll do a live about this because people get confused. The terms DF and DM are not really great. The term runner and chaser you can say use instead, but not very great either because the DF can run too later. Okay, and chasing is also running away from yourself. So I like to use the spiritual and non-spiritual is maybe better, but sometimes that's not even that accurate. The DF will always be the more spiritually inclined twin, being in the higher chakras. And the DM will always not be able to fully get there. They'll get there a little bit, but not fully to the Godhead. And it's always the divine feminine energy in the person that awakens first. We all have divine feminine energy and divine masculine. Whoever's divine feminine energy is awakened first is the chaser, essentially. So if the DM awakened first, so you're saying basically your male twin awakened first, then he's the DF, essentially. So there you go. Someone wrote in Hindi. I cannot read Hindi. Bagashi, I feel my twin was awakened, and when he approached, I got scared and shut down. You said you've written something else, but anyway. And then got mad and then slowly opened up, even though I knew it was twin flame, but I ran away, blaming he was running. Okay. So basically, the DMs in the beginning, they know that you're the one and they feel the connection. So they realize first. But it's the DF that awakens first. The DM just knows that they're attracted to you. They don't understand it. Mango. Oh my God, I did the same thing with the fake accounts. Guilty. I'm sure they do it as well, you know. Okay. Almost Aga. Followed mine on Insta and unfollowed because him not watching my stories triggered me. You know, they're very controlled, right? They have so much resilience to avoid you because they're running. But when they get into their chasing energy and they start coming back, they do start watching. Okay, vibes. Well, my twin comes in my dream and I see him coming closer with every dream. What that means we're coming closer. Yes, 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 yes. So initially in your dreams, it will be great in the bubble phase, and then they start running in the dreams and avoiding you. And then you heal that and you come closer. And then you'll have dreams about you dating and marrying, having kids, traveling, and all that stuff. And that's a great sign because it's happening in the 5D, and eventually it will cement in the 3D. So it's very good. And if you have a dream about marriage with your twin, that's in a union. Okay, say J Love. Oh my God, I also felt the same way. He wouldn't watch my stories. I know, because we want that attention, you know, but it doesn't matter whether they watch it or not. Oh my God, I've been so triggered by that. It's so childish. Yes, they do act childish. Goddess of Snow. I feel like my twin would purposely avoid my stories too. So I'd do it back. Yeah, they do it because they're very resilient. Their egos, they shut their emotions off, don't they? But then the floodgates open later and they can't stop the tears and the emotions. Mango. What are things do divine feminine go through in this journey? What are the things the divine feminines go through? I went through layoff, yes, losing your job, car accident, your dad passing away, God bless you, hope you're okay. What else can I expect on this journey? Well, what happens is your 3D life crumbles. Anything not in alignment, anything not divine has to go away, okay? Everything not in alignment has to go away. Sorry. I thought I saw something. So anything not in alignment has to go away for the divine feminine first, and then the divine masculine has the joy of it happening to them as well. And oftentimes the divine masculine's life is completely in distortion, so they lose a lot. But initially in the beginning, they seem to be ego inflated and getting a lot because our energy is giving them that fuel. Nadika, I got angry with my divine masculine so much that I told him from my ego that I don't want to see him again. I wished him a nice life and left. You know what? You can't mess up this journey. And even if you say that, they say all sorts of crazy stuff. That's not the case. It's the ego that talks. It's that push energy. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hope you're okay. All right. Any other thing? Why are people not talking about the things they've done? Come on, it's not just me that's made mistakes and done silly stuff. Okay, vibes. Like talking to someone else other than your twin or going out in dates will affect this journey or my twin flame. So we've talked about this before. If you go out looking for others from a place of lack and fear and ego, then you will get that instant karma for it. And and it's coming from a place of emptiness. But if you do it from a place of love and wholeness, and it just comes and appears in your life, then it's okay, and it helps you. It will help you grow, and you'll learn from it, and it's nothing wrong with that. All right. Yes, yes, thank you. We can hear you. Everything is okay. Hallelujah. I can relate to the swimming part. Okay. Almost. I'm triggered when someone claims is a twin flame, but his separation lasted like 2 months. Almost, Aga, do you have this belief that you must suffer? Like, in order to get stuff in life, you must suffer. Some twins have done a lot of inner work in past lives, so their separation is less and they get into union faster. So is your ego believing into a pattern that, it's hard to get into union, or you must struggle to get anything in life? Some people find it with ease. Lorraine bad-mouthed him, wanted him out of my life. Now I've accepted what it is. They accept it too. FM says, are you in communication with your DM? Me and my DM have had a very long separation. Firstly, because very toxic, very distorted, very childish and immature. Also, a lot of karma to be resolved. And me doing social media, again, brings up a lot of stuff and triggering for him as well. So, no, we talked in the beginning. We talked a little bit for the 2 months. It was very, very big energy. Like I said, me and my twin, we had Kundalini awakening. I had it anyway in the beginning, straight away, twice. Then I messaged here and there once a month. But then when I got a bit brave, because I've talked about this, one of my coaches was like, text him, message him, say that you want him, miss him, and this, that, and the other. And I got too bold. He blocked me. And then I sent those emails, which I kind of, do I regret sending them? Everything's divinely orchestrated, but it was like, we are twin flames, we're going to be in union, and we come from Mintaka, and this and that and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And he don't get any of that. He don't know what the hell that is. He's crazy. I'm crazy. So those big emails would have pushed my union back a little bit. It would have scared him off even more. But then the further they run, the more they trigger and come back. So that would have been that as well. And then also, that I've said this before, the universe, the divine, is kind of stalling my union a little bit, because if I was in union, I'd be hanging out in the Maldives or Mauritius with my twin, just sleeping with him every night, day and night, just having a great time, and don't give a shit about my phone. So I wouldn't be making content. So I'm being used by the divine to help, So yes, I sent the emails, and he said, please do not contact me anymore. And then nothing, every birthday and stuff, nothing. He never messaged me. But this birthday just gone a few months ago in October, when I went to ayahuasca, he did write, I said, happy birthday. And he wrote, thank you. I thought, okay, but then I thought, that's just crumbs, isn't it? But it's a good step. Now, I mentioned, don't write long passages. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it easy. Happy birthday, done. They say thank you, done. Respond to them the way they respond to you. If they say hey, you say hi. If they say how are you, good, thanks, you. Don't be like, how are you? I am great, but you ignored me for so long, and I'm so upset with you, and I'm going through exam. My work's on Elizabeth. My work's in my family life, and I missed you so much. No, it's too much. You treat them like you do with a friend, and you keep it light in the beginning, okay? So that's all he said was thank you. And then when I did my iboga in December, I said, pray for me. And he read it, and that's about it. Okay. So I know some of you, divine feminines, you're like, oh my God, my twin didn't message me in 1 day. I'm having a crisis, or 2 months, and it's all so terrible. I haven't really chatted to him in 2 years, properly, over 2 years. Okay. But I still know what's going on. And I have read about this and heard about it. The longer your separation, the faster the union happens. Because some of you have short separations and you have contact, and it's weaving, a lot of weaving, in and out, in and out, in and out. And you have a lot of separations. But some people have longer separations, and then they just get into union and stay in union. I don't know how it's going to be, but we haven't had that much communication. A lot of it are communications all in the dream world and the telepathy and the 3D and the 5D. Long answer. Brittany. He wants me to stop holding back, so when I was vulnerable, he ghosted. He wants me to stop holding back. All right, so he wants you to be more bold, but then you were vulnerable and he ghosted. He couldn't handle it. Gayatri. What is the difference between a high-level soulmate and twin flames? We'll do a live about it, but I will just mention Now, when I did talk about it, right? Didn't I talk about it, or was it in the other live? I can't remember which live I talked about it. So, this is you as a twin flame. When you have a twin ray, for example, which can be likened to a high-level soulmate, whatever, you're the same polarities. So if you both will have the same shadows, but you don't trigger each other because you both have the blind spots, okay? So you're both like divine feminines, two divine feminines having a fabulous time, but distortions are not triggered. Whereas a twin flame is your mirrored self, right? The opposite inverted self of you, your shadow. So any distortions will actually bump against each other and trigger you until you heal it and you get aligned. So the purpose of a twin flame is to trigger your distortions to heal them. A twin ray, which can be likened to a high-level soulmate, is someone of the same polarity. And you're not necessarily going to trigger the shadows and heal them because it won't hit the spot to trigger. Soulmates can be anything, and we'll do a live about this. It can be your family, your friends, your cats, your dogs. It can be a lover. And if you're aligned with a soulmate, it's a beautiful experience. If you're in high vibration, it can be beautiful. It can be. But you won't ascend and you won't see your distortions, and it's not an ascension journey, whereas the twin flame journey is. If you're misaligned, with a karmic, with a soulmate, it can be a very challenging journey, but you're not going to ascend. It will deplete you and destroy you in a way. So a twin flame will always help you to ascend and get out of your misery. So a high-level soulmate is like a soulmate, but someone of a much higher vibrational frequency, like a twin ray. And it can be a really good experience. And there are signs and synchronicities. And like with the Witcher, I remember I had the Shakti pack happen if you followed me for a while, and you can transfer their energy into them and awaken them. But you will never see your blind spots and your distortions and get triggered to this state where you have those dark nights of the soul and your ego deaths, where you are shedding the layers of the ego. That only happens with a twin flame. Okay. Right, next question. Yeah, I did some stalking that for myself was so scary. I would look at myself and feel so sad about how desperate I am. I think I look like a loser for the way I acted. And you know what? We got to go through that because I look like a loser too. But what can we do? Samja, the worst I've done is being next to one another at the gym and ignoring him as he ignored me. The worst. Forgive yourself. Goddess of Snow, my twin and I went to the same gym and he parked next to me but didn't say anything. You know, they do that, but eventually they'll come out and they'll admit that they were insecure. We were doing the same. My twin flame never came back. Kanika, how long has it been and have you ascended? Have you given them to God? They will always come back if it's your twin flame. I no longer feel he's coming back intuitively. What's the difference between realizing the TF and the awakening in TF? Okay. What's the difference between realizing the TF and awakening in TF? I don't know if that question makes sense to me. Okay. Realizing you're a twin flame is where you understand that this is the start of the journey. Awakening is when you ascend and you get into a state of peace and bliss in a union. Dreaming a lot about him last week. I hope they're good dreams. That version was off the chart. Okay. Nowadays, mine was very much, emotionally showing himself, like telling how much he misses me and stuff, but not directly. That's a good sign. Esmeralda, the DM was not to say, I love you in he dream, although I admitted to him, obviously he was even in 5D, still blocked to express his emotions. So how would you interpret this? So this live, if you remember, is about the mistakes you've made on the twin flame journey. This is not ask any old question you want. And also your question don't make sense. So you had a dream about him where he said, I love you, but in the 5D, but he doesn't express it in the 3D. That's normal. The 5D version is talking to you. And just let it happen as it's going to happen. Health scare, like really nasty one. I'm still on the journey. Third party on both ends. I've always hot and cold with him. I asked him to block me from everywhere, and he obviously did. They don't always, though. My DM passed me in the park. His dogs ran up to me and he pretended not to see me. So I'm not seeing any questions of things that you've done now. We haven't done all these crazy things because we had your advice from your Insta account. Oh, thank you. But you might have done it before you met me. Um, yeah. And sometimes someone can give you advice, right? But you can still end up doing it. And I did it. I think I was told the advice I was given was surrender and um, 0 point, was it? Surrender and 0 point. I clearly didn't do that. I had to learn the hard way. I felt like I knew better. I'm hot and cold with him too. Talk a lot about spirituality, almost sounding crazy. Gave unasked advice. Yeah, never give advice unless it's asked for, okay? Don't scare them. How long is separation? It depends on each individual person and how much karma you've got to do in order to get balanced. I was so selfless that my big mistake was that I misunderstood the concept of unconditional love and he dated another girl. Let it all happen and learn to love yourself. I used to stalk him a lot. At that time, I used to get a lot of stupid assumption about him, like my trust was getting weaker. But after I healed myself, I started getting answers. Good. It's the brown and the eyes for me. Is the catalyst a real thing? You know, they talk about false twin flames and catalyst twin flames. I don't buy into that, but you can if you want. It's up to you. It's just a label, right? So a catalyst is basically you're meeting someone who's going to trigger you and help you to awaken a little bit, right? The reason why I don't like the terms false is I have my mother. She walked in earlier in the other life. You might have seen her, I don't know. Maybe you didn't. But I have one mother. I don't have a false mother, right? I have a mother or not a mother. I have a twin or not a twin. Otherwise, you can say I have one twin flame and every other person in the world is a false twin flame. But you do get people that come into your life that will trigger you and prepare you, like karmics actually. But it's just labels. Okay. Heck no, I'm a Scorpio. I could never. I'm a Scorpio too. How can be separation? I have so many separations, one even for a year and then a few months. Well, I've been in separation for 2 years and something. 2 years and a couple of months. So there you go. Nowadays, I almost forgot about him while busy with my life, and out of nowhere, I get his dream standing next to me, looking at me. That's how it is. Focus on you. Wait, oh my God, is October is your birthday? October's my twins, November is mine. Check it out now. Okay. All right. Had a dream about soul merge. What does that mean? It's in a union happening. Never explained this. Never actually been together. Met in 2020. Kundalini awakened 2021. The dreams have stopped. They do. They're coming in and out. Same. I go through a lot of doubts. I have moments where I'm still not sure if this is just a catalyst, someone who's toyed with me. Your doubts will iron out and you will be confirmed, whether they are your twin or not, naturally. He said he had deep love for me and feels our connection is different, but the actions doesn't align. Typical, but they will align. How do you know you're connecting to the twin telepathically? So I've made videos on this, I've even lives on this. Telepathic is dream world. Also the feeling and sensations you have when you see them around you in the spiritual. I call it the ghost. I always call it the ghost, but the 5D version following you around, you see your spirit babies too. The signs, the synchronicities, the feelings in the body, the heart take, the heart pull, it's all telepathy. Also when you're talking to yourself. But life from the past months are very calm, peaceful. But my twin's life is a mess. What does that mean? So initially the DF's life becomes a mess and then you ascend. And when it's a mess, the DM is acting up crazy. But then you ascend and then they go down and their life falls apart. And then they ascend. Some people claim twin ray is higher convention than TF. What do you think? Some people think all sorts of things and it's all just labels, right? Some people think that when your twin flame heals, you both become twin rays all of a sudden. I don't know, believe what you want. But I explained the concept earlier. A twin ray is two polarities of the same, like two DFs. You'll both have the same blind spots and shadows and issues, but you don't trigger each other because you're not showing each other in distorted ways. It's just very nice. So you're not going to really ascend. Whereas the DM will initially be in a different vibration, of course, because they're showing you your lower aspects. And that does trigger you. It does hurt. And you have to heal it. And then you ascend. And no one will ever match your frequency like your DM. So maybe in the beginning, the twin ray does seem higher, but the DM will trigger the hell out of that so that you get even higher, and then they will join you there. The worst I did was lend him a lot of money with the promise of giving it back. Promise of him giving it back. Oh, he'll pay it back. Trust and believe. Me and my twin is in separation for almost like 5 years. Oh. Have you been doing your inner work? What's going on? Have you had any support? That's why it's hard for me to believe that someone is a real twin flame when they are in union after 2 months. Let's not judge people, right? People use twin flames for everything. Some people think twin flame is their plant. I don't know. I saw it on Tinder, advert. Did you see it? Oh, they're talking about twin flames. Find your twin flame on Tinder. Maybe you can, I don't know. I contacted his karmics and women out of rage because I felt like he was manipulating me and misguiding me, telling me he loved me and I'm the mother of his children, but sleeping around. You know, and I can feel why you would do that. Pearl portals. Do you believe you can experience the energy of your twin flame through different people, not just one? It's very interesting. There's someone who talks about that, about their twin flame incarnates in different people and all that stuff. We will talk about this, but I am going to do a live on soulmates, twin flames, twin rays, and all that stuff. So, the characteristics of your twin flame will show up in soulmates to trigger you, but they are not your twin flame's soul, your soul, going into those bodies. No, it's just those people mirroring. Because if, for example, the DM runs away, tries to avoid you, blocks you, but they get ego deaths and blasted by karmics and other people, and they are constantly reminded of you. Whether they think that, oh, I wish I was with you, the DF, because you'd treat me better, or there's aspects of that person that reminds them, because everything is like attracts like, manifestation, right? So you are manifesting and attracting your DM's lower aspects, which are within you unconsciously. And if you are not talking to each other, those lower aspects are still there. So your DM will meet other people and those lower aspects of theirs will match with theirs. So it feels as though that their energy is in the other person, but it's not. It's just those distortions. So for example, if you've got a distortion of abandonment, but your twin flames blocked you, you may go and date a soulmate who also abandons you. And then you'll feel like it's similar to your twin flame, but it's not. It's your mind basically trying to heal that wound to get you to your twin flame. So no, your soul does not jump ships. It comes in at one time and it stays in that vessel until you die, I believe. Twitch. Okay, no, we're not doing Twitch, thank you. I don't know why I'm triggered by that. Hi, can you please tell us the stage the DMs are at in present? Now, if you have followed me, I do not believe that we're all at the same place. We're starting to get there. So generally, what's happening with the DMs, if you've done your work, I always say this, if you do no inner work, you cannot expect to get a free ride and expect that your DM is going to be like all the other DMs. You got to do your work. Okay, so those who have done their inner work, the DMs last year were having ego deaths and this year they're healing. And they will be coming in. They're actually awakening. So that's what's happening with them right now. But they're having a hard time. A lot of them are in hermit mode and silent. Can cord cutting with the suspected DM reduce the excessive thoughts about the person? No, it doesn't work. We briefly talked in September, then he ghosted me. Okay, I'm going to do the last few questions and then we're going to talk about all the positive things, all the good, not the mistakes, but the good things you've done on the journey. I'm in separation with my twin 5 years. Only contact is dreams, remembering him. I don't really care if he comes or not. Have you done your inner work? October, I said when in October is your birthday? My birthday ain't in October. My birthday is 19th of November. You can send me a gift if you want. I'm born on the same day as my granddad and my cousin. How crazy is that? Okay, God, and you know what's funny? I was conceived on Valentine's. Anyway, Goddess of Snow. We briefly talked in September before I graduated school, and then he ghosted, so I deleted him before I graduated. Don't want to be waiting for him to wish me congratulations, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was necessary so I can make my graduation. Do you think he understands that? Yes. You just listen to yourself. They are you, okay? How can we do daily quick aura cleansing and protection? Is it necessary to do this daily? Follow what feels good to you. You can do aura cleansing through various sort of frequency videos that you can see on the internet, or imagining white light over you and do visualizations. It's up to you. If you believe in fear and darkness, then yes, you can buy into that. But if you are attached, aligned with source and love always, nothing can affect you, right? My soulmate and I were on his motorcycle. My twin flame and I made eye contact while I was in his car. Put you on the motorcycle. Anyway, we laugh at it now, but it was triggering back then. My husband got a dream about me and my DM romancing in the dream. Now, the entire situation has become chaotic in my mind. If there's a divine plan, yes, it is. EF Blunt. I met mine in meditation, and 3 years later, met him in person through Tinder. Okay, see, I met mine on Grindr, so yes, you can meet them. Of course you can. But I'm just saying, it's not like, I don't believe, like, everything is a manifestation, obviously. I believe with the twin flame journey, it's an unconscious manifestation because you're focusing on love and it just shows up. Maybe you can manifest your twin flame if you focus on self-love, if you believe that it's out there. But I personally believe that the universe brings them to you one way or the other, and you can come through Tinder, right? Okay, blueberry. It's not always necessary that the spiritual twin abandons career in mainstream 3D, right? Like being an architect or doctor, even if we're awakened. Of course not. So like I said, anything that is distorted will have to go. Now, if you are already in alignment, I lost my job because the place I was working was distorted as hell. So if you are in alignment where you are before you meet your twin, you'll stay there, right? Okay, I'm gonna not answer any more questions. I think no more questions. So don't put any questions. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the good things, but let me finish off the last things. So no more questions. Does the DM think about the DF daily or once in a while? Depends where your energy's at. If you're in obsessive energy, they put the invisible wall, they block, they try not to think about you, and then you come in here and there. But once you start focusing on yourself, they start thinking about you. Okay, I think the DFs are more obsessive though. I find it so funny and intuitive how you always reply to my questions in an American accent. I live in New York. Or do I? Sorry, my accent's really messed up. No, it's all about you, and keep it that way. Studying while dealing with all this stuff is insane. You deserve all the credit. He wouldn't care if the roles were reversed. Most DMs don't. Da 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 da. Okay, I'm experiencing this in a positive way. I'm dating a soulmate that has helped me heal. It does help you heal. Yes, can do. Aspects of your twin flame. They mirror where your twin flame's at. It's very confusing, but I had the karmic version of that before. Yes, but now because you've ascended, you'll get the good versions. They treat you well, but it doesn't last forever, okay? They go out. Oh my God, still questions. No more questions, okay? No more questions. Zodiac sign, no. I feel I've done all the inner work, but my DM needs some time. But I always get messages that I need some time either in dreams. I do know a psychic who I trust. You don't need them. But if you want to vibe, you can DM me. Her name's Isla. She might be able to help you. What is a sign of having done enough inner work? You get into inner union, which is a state of bliss and peace. And you stop obsessing and you live the best life. You're abundant, you're successful, and you manifest with ease. Water Moon Fresh. How to stop feeling the DM's emotions. Ooh, I hate it when he's with his girlfriend. I'm not sure what it's supposed to learn from this. It's a trigger, and it's your emotions reacting to that, and you have to heal them. All right. So now I'm going to talk about all the good things. I want you to write down all the things you are proud of. So what I'm proud of, the good things I've done on this twin flame journey. So I met my twin flame in October 2022. By December, I knew that he was the one. I had a palm reading. And in January, I had a psychic reading, and I knew that we were twin flames. So literally October, November, December, January. Within 2.5 months, I knew I was a twin flame, and I started doing my inner work. Because I know some twin flames takes them 20 years to figure out their twin flames for whatever reason, no judgment. But I was really grateful and proud that I figured it out quite quick. And then I started doing the inner work. And like my twin was very distorted and toxic, right? Not spiritual, doing all the craziness. So I had to go real deep. So I was very proud of the fact that I did all my inner work healing and figured it all out and started doing my purpose as well and doing all the videos. I literally started doing all my videos 9 months into my journey, where my twin was still doing the drugs and the weed and the sleeping with everyone, and the pornography and all that stuff was doing it, like really going for it, emptying his cup like no man's business. So I was learning and growing, and I'm really proud that I've gone from like being in my mind a lot and overthinking and getting into my soul in the present, getting into inner union. After like literally couple of like a year or so, got into inner union, a year and a bit. And then I'm also really proud that my twin flame has changed and evolved and become a better person and become a God-loving man. What are you proud of? What are you proud of yourself? I'm also proud that I've been helping people and learning from people and helping friends and family and just becoming a better person. I'm very excited. If after 2 years we can get to here, what are we going to be like in 5 or 10 or 15, 20 years? I just can't wait. I just love getting closer. I'm proud that I got closer to God, proud that I became more loving, and also proud that I got rid of all this sort of like toxicity and anger from lifetimes. Proud that I carried on taking care of my body and my mind. Proud that I went traveling and did a lot of plant medicine, which I was shit scared of, and I did it still. Faced fears, faced death. Proud that I look better. Okay, so let's look at what you're proud of. I think there was one or two about the other thing. It's the hardest thing I go through while dealing with toxic family, raising my children. With me, I'm the calm one, always have been. He's the obsessive, very attached. How is that possible? But the still keeps arm's length distance. Oh, interesting. So the DM's crazy about you and obsessive, but they keep away and they run. It's normal. Thank you so much for answering. No problems. Soul food. I'm proud. Yes, what are you proud of? I'm proud of how much I was able to let go of what wasn't serving me. Amen. And how brave I was to listen to the triggers he was showing to me. The fake friends and the spiritual connection, the job's good. Proud of graduating for a career at school, Goddess of Snow. I'm passionate about with no family supporting me but my child. Graduate top of the class, licensed professional. Well done, Goddess of Snow. Proud of standing up to abusive family members and friends and leaving them behind. Good. FM. I'm proud of that I could finally stand on myself, on my own 2 feet, and for eternity before being used as a punching bag. Soul food. Proud of him moving to Los Angeles on his own. I knew he was unhappy where he was previously. Proud of him letting go of his lusty ways. Well done. And they've all let it all fucking go. Sorry, I swore. Pierre. I don't run away from my issues anymore and face them with the intention of healing it all. Yes, badass. I'm proud of consistency despite his bad behavior. I get into alignment daily. I help him by doing that. I help myself. It's been quite a ride. Good. Brittany, I met him in August 2022, met a mutual friend. I'm proud that we're both spiritual and he's open to learning more. I'm proud, Anna, of healing many triggers, let go of my ego and set boundaries. Wonderful. Esmeralda, I'm proud that I can release him 1 year ago. These are huge achievements, people. Huge achievements. I've forgiven my twin. Yes, completely. 100%. I'm proud of slaying all the trials that have knocked me down. I am fierce. I will never stop. Well done. And I hope from my channel, I try to like embed that sort of fierceness, that boldness, that power, that empowerment. Good. As a collective, we're proud of you, Manny. We're proud of each other. Very good. Thank you. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of slaying all the trials that never stop. I'm proud of getting spiritual after getting in this journey. I used to be very aggressive and now I can control my emotions very well and be financially independent. See, look at the things we do. We are badass. You know, we do, twin flames will do so much in their lifetime that other people couldn't do. Like 10 people, 100 people cannot do as much stuff that we do. Wow, things we change, how we alchemize. You know, for people, they say, oh, you will turn a new leaf, you will turn a new chapter. Whereas twin flames, we turn whole trees, we turn libraries and bookcases. The amount of things we do and how we transform. And we are so powerful and amazing. And we should be proud of that. So the collective DMs are awakening. And you can trust that and be proud of that too. I'm proud of how much stronger I am of overcoming the last 2 years of uncertainty and everything that almost destroyed my family. And can you imagine when you become this powerful and this proud of what you've achieved with so much faith and trust, what you can do? You're invincible. I'm proud of how much stronger I am of overcoming all these things. We are the 1% of the 1%. Okay. So I apologize for the issue with the live and thank you for staying with me. We re-recorded it. We went through it. I yapped on for half an hour with no sound. Thanks for being patient. And also, like I said, I started off this live with a headache. with family issues and drama and trauma dumped on me. But now, just by talking to you, I feel better again. So thank you. I wish you all the best. See you soon. Keep healing. Bye.